Picture this. You finally decide to stop letting your money sit in a savings account earning basically nothing. You do your research, you feel confident, and you buy your first bond. Then a few months later, you check your portfolio and something feels off. The numbers don't make sense. You start Googling and suddenly realize there were things nobody bothered to explain to you before you made that purchase. That moment of confusion, that slight panic, that is exactly what we are going to prevent today. Because the truth is, bonds are sold to everyday investors as the safe, boring, reliable part of a portfolio. And in many ways, they can be exactly that. But safe does not mean simple, and boring does not mean there is nothing to learn. There are hidden mechanics inside bond investing that can genuinely cost you money if you walk in without understanding them. So let us fix that right now. First, let us make sure we are on the same page about what a bond actually is, because the textbook definition leaves out the part that matters. When you buy a bond, you are essentially lending money to a government or a corporation. They promise to pay you interest over a set period, and at the end of that period, they give your original investment back. Simple enough. But here is what the definition skips. The price of that bond can move significantly before you ever get to the end of that period. And most first-time buyers have no idea this is even a thing. This leads us directly into one of the biggest surprises in bond investing, and it is called interest rate risk. Here is the core idea. When interest rates in the economy go up, the value of existing bonds goes down. When rates fall, bond prices rise. These two things move in opposite directions, always. The reason is logical once you see it. If you are holding a bond paying 3% interest and new bonds are now being issued at 5%, nobody wants your lower paying bond unless you discount the price to make it attractive. So on paper, your investment just lost value, even though you did nothing wrong. This is not a glitch. This is how the bond market works. And if you bought a bond thinking you could sell it before maturity without any downside, this is the part that would have surprised you. The longer the time until a bond matures, the more sensitive it is to interest rate changes. That sensitivity has a name. It is called duration. You will hear that word thrown around a lot in bond conversations, and now you know what it actually means in practical terms. Let us talk about something else that catches first-time buyers off guard, and that is the difference between a bond's coupon rate and its yield. These sound like the same thing, but they are not, and mixing them up leads to real confusion. The coupon rate is fixed. It is the interest rate printed on the bond when it was originally issued. The yield, however, changes based on what you actually paid for the bond. If you bought the bond at a discount, your yield is higher than the coupon. If you paid a premium, your yield is lower. When you hear investors and analysts talking about bonds, they are almost always referring to yield, not coupon. Knowing this distinction prevents you from misreading what your investment is actually earning. Now here is a concept that connects to something deeper than just bond mechanics. And this is where Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money, quietly changed how a lot of people think about investing. Not just bonds, but all of it. If you have not read it yet, the link is in the comments below. Pick it up, it is worth your time. Moving forward, let us get into credit risk, because this one is genuinely underestimated by new investors. Not every bond is equal. When a government issues a bond, there is a certain level of trust that they will pay you back. When a struggling company issues a bond offering a very attractive interest rate, that high rate is not a gift. It is compensation for the risk that the company might not be able to repay you at all. Bonds are rated by agencies that assess how likely the issuer is to meet their obligations. Investment-grade bonds carry lower risk and lower yields. High-yield bonds, also called junk bonds, carry higher risk and higher yields. Walking into the bond market without understanding this spectrum is like agreeing to lend a stranger money without knowing anything about them because they promise to pay you back extra. This is also where a lot of first-time investors get tripped up on something called callable bonds. Some bonds give the issuer the right to pay you back early before the maturity date. This sounds fine on the surface, but here's the problem. Companies typically call bonds when interest rates drop, which is exactly the moment when you would have been enjoying your above-market coupon payment. They take that away, hand you back your principal, and now you have to reinvest at lower rates. This is called reinvestment risk, and it is baked into callable bonds in a way that does not always get explained up front. Let us slow down for a second and talk about why people get these things wrong in the first place. And I think the honest answer is that financial decisions are never purely mathematical. Our emotions, our biases, our relationship with money shaped by years of experience, all of that influences how we interpret information and make choices. Morgan Housel breaks this down in a way that genuinely shifts your perspective in The Psychology of Money. This is not a dry textbook. It is one of the most readable, practical, and psychologically insightful finance books written in the last decade. Housel explains why smart people make poor financial decisions, how wealth is built not just through knowledge but through behavior, and why understanding your own money mindset matters more than any spreadsheet. If you want to become a truly confident investor, not just someone who knows the mechanics, but someone who makes sound decisions under pressure and uncertainty, this book is one of the best investments you can make. The link is in the comments. Do yourself a favor and grab a copy before you make your next financial move. Now back to what you need to know. Let us talk about taxes on bond income, because this is another area where people get surprised. Interest income from most corporate bonds is taxed as ordinary income, which can be a significant bite depending on your tax bracket. Municipal bonds issued by local governments typically offer interest that is exempt from federal income tax and sometimes state tax too. This makes them particularly attractive if you are in a higher tax bracket. The key lesson here is that your pre-tax yield and your after-tax yield can look very different, and evaluating bonds without considering the tax implications can lead you to make comparisons that do not reflect what you are actually keeping. Something else nobody really walks you through is where and how to actually buy bonds. You can buy treasury bonds directly from the government through Treasury Direct. You can also buy bonds through a brokerage account, which gives you access to the secondary market where bonds are traded after they are originally issued. In the secondary market, prices fluctuate and spreads between buying and selling prices can quietly eat into your returns without being obvious at first glance. Some investors also access bonds through bond funds or ETFs, which offer diversification and liquidity, but behave differently from holding individual bonds, especially when interest rates are moving. Here is the bigger picture that ties all of this together. Bonds are not inherently boring or inherently safe in every scenario. They are a tool, and like any financial tool, their value depends on whether you understand how to use them properly, given your goals, your timeline, and the economic environment you are investing in. The people who use bonds effectively are not the ones who stumbled in assuming it would all be straightforward. They are the ones who took the time to understand what they were actually buying. If you walked into this video unsure about bonds and you are walking out with a clearer picture, that is exactly what this channel is here for. There is a lot more to cover when it comes to building a confident, informed approach to your finances. So if this helped you, hit the like button because it genuinely helps this content reach more people who need it. And subscribe if you want to keep building that knowledge base, because we cover these kinds of real practical topics every single week. The more you understand about how money actually works, the better every financial decision you make will be from here on out.